GRIAS Academy.
100 days, 100 themes, one goal UPSC Prelims. Hello all, welcome back to the program Mission Surya Phase 3, a STEM revision program where we deal with current affairs regarding science and technology and environment completely in Prelims perspective. So let's get started with our today's session. In our today's session, we are going to see few fuels and alternative fuels. As we know, the issue of the Strait of Hormuz, right? The West Asian conflicts which led to the crisis of this petrol and this diesel and the crude oil. So, in behalf of those, apart from using those crude oils, petrols and all, we are coming up with new technologies which are to be initiated and are initiating in India, which are the biofuels and all, and the alternative fuels. Even in the aviation also we are coming up with the alternative fuels. So let's look into the themes of fuels and alternative fuels which aimed due to Hormuz crisis. Okay, now ethanol blending program, which is the path from E20, from ethanol blending of 20% to ethanol blending of 100%. Okay, this ethanol blending program has come up in India. Let's see the basic concepts of ethanol and biofuel generations. Okay, see, what is ethanol? Ethanol is a ethyl alcohol which is a renewable source, which is a renewable biofuel which is naturally produced by the fermentation of sugars like with petrochemical processes. By using petrochemical processes, these sugars are being fermented. Okay, blending it with petrol which reduces the reliance on fossil fuels and cut down the carbon emissions. Our main aim is to reduce the carbon emissions, right? In that scenario, by using this ethanol, we can reduce the carbon emissions to an extent. Okay, next. Let's see the categorization of biofuels. Basically, biofuels are of 4 generations based on the type of sources from which they are produced. Okay, the first one is the first generation. The first generation are produced from food crops, which are produced from food crops like sugar cane juice, maize, surplus of rice and corn. Okay, now coming to the second generation of biofuels, it is produced from non-food biomass, and agricultural waste like what? Rice husks, wheat straws, corn stover, bagasse, etc. Okay, next coming to the third generation of biofuels, where we see these are derived from specifically engineered microorganisms like algae. Okay, next coming to the fourth generation, what is this fourth generation focuses on? It focused on carbon capture technology. It captures on carbon capture technology which is integrated with fuel production. Example, the electro fuels. Okay, now moving forward, let's see the evolution of blending of ethanol in the petrol. Like, see, we have to know about this, like E20, E10, E20, E85 and E100. That is basically E10 is 10% of ethanol blended in the 90% of petrol, whereas 20% of ethanol is blended in the 80% of ethanol, in a ratio of 85 is 85% of ethanol blended in the remaining part of petrol, and whereas E100 is blending, completely taking ethanol as a fuel for the vehicles to run. Okay, next see. The EBP, the ethanol blending program, was initially launched in which year? 2003, which is initially launched in the year 2003 with a 5% of target. The initial target of the ethanol blending is 5%. Then over the years, the targets and technologies have been evolved significantly. Okay, like how it been taken for 10%, ethanol blending of 10%, which is targeted in 2022 itself. Okay, ahead of schedule. Basically, the standard, the international combustion engine vehicles can generally handle E10. They can generally handle the E10 without major modifications. The basic engines which are there in the vehicles, they can handle the E10 technology without any further modifications. Okay, next coming to the E20, that is 20% of ethanol which is blended. That is how the target was originally set for 2030. By 2030, India wanted to reach a target of blending ethanol 20% into the petrol for the vehicles. But what happened? This was advancedly achieved by 2025 to 2026 financial year only. The E20 has been in India successfully achieved. Okay. Now, from April 2025, all BS6 vehicles, I mean Bharat State 6 vehicles must meet E20 emission standard. From early April 2025, all the BS6 standard vehicles have to meet the emission standards of ethanol. Okay, next. The next is E85 to E100, that is 85% to 100%, that is pure ethanol which is being used in the petrol, in behalf of petrol in the vehicles. For that, moving beyond E20 requires shifting away from standard engines. The standard engines have to be shifted to the modern technological engines so that it can bear the ethanol capacity without damaging the mileage to the vehicles. Okay, see. The Ministry of Road Transport and Highways is evaluating pure ethanol. It is evaluating pure ethanol under the Central Motor Vehicle Rules. Central Motor Vehicle Rules. Okay. Now, these are the evaluations of blending targets. Okay. Next. The next is flex fuel vehicles. Basically, for using this 85% and 100% of ethanol in the vehicles, the major one we require is the flex fuel vehicles. We need flex fuel vehicles to utilize higher blends like E85 or E100. Okay, so India requires flex fuel vehicles. These vehicles feature modified engines with corrosion resistant components and advanced sensors which is capable of running any varying blend of petrol. Any varying, not only 85 or 100, it can vary on E20, E85, E100 or E10. It can bear any type. Okay, in that way these vehicles have been designed with the engines, flex fuel vehicles. Next coming to few policies which Government of India has come up with. National Policy on Biofuels, that is 2018, and which is amended in 2022. Okay, what is the nodal agency of this National Policy on Biofuels is Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. The nodal agency of this is Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. It is not the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. Have a note on it. Basically, the examiner might trick you here, like it may give this National Policy on Biofuels nodal agency is the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. No, it is not the New and Renewable Energy. It comes under the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. So have a note on it. Next, coming to the oversight, the National Biofuel Coordination Committee, which is chaired by the Chief Secretary, Cabinet Secretary, oversees feedstock availability and blending targets. Okay, next, what are the amendments which are happened in 2022 are formally advanced the E20 blending targets from 2030 to 2025 to 26. This is the key amendment which has happened. The next is expanded permissible feedstocks to include damaged food grains like broken rice, rotten potatoes, maize and surplus rice which is held in the Food Corporation of India. By these, using this, it can produce the ethanol. Okay. Next, alongside sugarcane and molasses. These are the feedstock components which can be used. Next is, the next amendment is it promoted advanced biofuels like which generation? The second generation and third generation of through specific financial investments. These are the key amendments which have happened in 2022. Regarding National Policy on Biofuels. Now, coming to the advantages of this ethanol blending program is forex saving and energy security. Displacing imported crude oil. Basically, everyone we have been knowing that we are importing a lot of crude oil from other countries. That is why we are facing the crisis of this crude oil and petrol due to the Strait of Hormuz closure. Okay. Now, see, displacing imported crude oil acts as a buffer against global supply shocks. Okay. Since 2014, ethanol blending has saved India over 1.4 lakh crore in foreign exchange. Okay. The next is agrarian empowerment. In the agricultural field, how means it provides a guaranteed industrial market. For surplus crops, turning farmers into energy producers. Those are called urjadats. We have read about this, right? Next is environmental impact. What is the environmental impact of this ethanol blending program? Is ethanol contains only oxygen. It contains oxygen, which enabling more complete combustion, which allows the more complete combustion. Like E20 blending significantly reduces carbon monoxide. By blending this ethanol, it can reduce the carbon monoxide and hydrocarbon emissions. By early 2025, it helped avoid over 800 lakh metric tons of carbon dioxide emissions, aligning with India's Panchamitra Global of net zero by 2070. By net zero by 2070, because India is targeting to be in a net zero nation. Okay, next. The next is engine performance. How this ethanol blending program helps in the engine development process is, engine performance is, ethanol has a higher octane rating. It has a higher octane rating, which is similarly to 108 RON, which reduces engine knocking and improves the efficiency of high compression engines. Next, these are the benefits of the ethanol blending program. Next, coming to the challenges in scaling to E85 to E100, not E10, E20. E20 we have achieved, right? So now let's see the challenges being faced to achieving E85 to E100. Okay, the first one is lower energy density and mileage. Rather than this fossil fuels, petrol, diesel and all, ethanol gives a bit lower mileage when compared to those. Okay, in the same way, pure ethanol contains roughly 45 to 55% of less energy per liter than the petrol. Okay, 45 to 55% of less energy than petrol. Okay, higher blends result in slightly lower fuel efficiency, means the mileage drop might occur in the vehicles. Okay, next is vehicle compatibility and cost. How it is challenged in sense, ethanol is a hygroscopic means which absorbs the moisture and can act as a solvent, which accelerates the wear of rubber, plastic and metal parts in older. So non-compliant vehicles. So transiting to FFVs is fuel flex vehicles requires substantial automotive investment. It requires the substantial automotive investments. Next is food versus fuel debate. Next challenge is food versus fuel debate. How aggressively diverting maize and FCI rice, Food Corporation of India rice stocks toward fuel production raise concerns about food inflation. It raises the concern about the food inflation and nutritional security, which is particularly during erratic monsoon seasons, means the very bad monsoon seasons. We can have the crisis. During crisis, when we use this FCI stocks and the maize which is there, how can we have these on the crisis time? Okay, this is one of the major challenge. Next is the water footprint. How? Sugarcane is the primary feedstock. For Indian ethanol. Mainly we are using sugarcane. Sugarcane is a very water required crop, right? Very much water intensive crop. Okay, which producing 1 liter of ethanol requires massive amount of water, means threatening water security in states like Maharashtra and Uttar Pradesh. In Maharashtra and Uttar Pradesh, there is a lot of scarcity of water. In these fields, how can this ethanol come up? By using this much of water and using feedstock as a sugarcane. Okay, these are the few challenges in scaling to E85 to E100. Okay, next. Moving forward, let's see few government related initiatives which has come up. The first one is Global Fuel Alliance. When it has come, it is launched during G20 presidency. Which is an international alliance of major producers or consumers like USA, Brazil, this India and all, to accelerate what? Global biofuel adoption. biofuel adoption, which establish standards and facilitate technology transfer. Okay, this is what you call Global Biofuel Alliance. The next one is PM Jeevan Yojana. PM Jeevan Yojana, which gives the financial support. It gives the financial support to integrated bioethanol projects. Integrated bioethanol projects by using what? Lignocellulose biomass. By using lignocellulose biomass and other renewable feedstocks to boost 2G ethanol production. Okay, next is the SATAT scheme. SATAT scheme is, it promotes the compressed biogas. It promotes compressed biogas as an alternative green transport fuel. Okay, next is RUCO initiative. What is this initiative of? It repurpose used cooking oil. It repurposes the used cooking oil, focuses on collecting and converting used cooking oil into ethanol, biodiesel or ethanol. Okay, these are the few government initiatives regarding the ethanol blending program. Okay, next. Oh, we have seen, right, for E85 and E100 we need fuels like flex fuel vehicles. Regarding those flex fuel vehicles, we will see what it is now. Okay, what are these flex fuel vehicles? Means these are modified internal combustion engine. Modified internal combustion engine, in the sense not the basics BS6 engines. These are the modified ones. Vehicles which are designed to run on more than one type of fuel, not only petrol, not only diesel, not only ethanol. It can run on different types of fuels or a mixture of them. Because see, we are blending the ethanol with the petrol, so that the engine have to have a capacity of holding these two combinations also. In that case, they have designed flex fuel vehicles. Okay, what are the fuel blends then? In India, these flex fuel vehicles are primarily being developed to operate on a blend of petrol and ethanol, as we said. Okay, ranging from 0% ethanol, that is the pure petrol, to 85 or 100% of ethanol, that is E85 to E100. Okay, globally some run on methanol blends also, not ethanol. In methanol blends also globally the few countries are running using flex fuel vehicles. Okay, next, what is the core difference between it? Means, unlike conventional petrol cars, unlike the normal cars or two-wheelers or whatever it might be, which are highly tuned to a specific fuel grade. They can run only to a petrol standard only. They cannot run if we give another fuels to the cars or bikes which we are using right of now. Okay, these FFVs can seamlessly transition between different fuel compositions in the same tank. Okay, next. This is the difference of flex fuel vehicles and the normal vehicles. Next, coming up, see the key engine modifications and components, how these flex fuel vehicles will be working. To handle the corrosive nature and the different combustion properties of ethanol, Standard ICS undergoes specific mechanical and software upgrades. It needs some mechanical and software upgrades. What are they? The first one is fuel blend sensor. Fuel blend sensor, in the sense the vehicle has to recognize if it is petrol, it has to run. If it is ethanol, it has to run. In that scenario, these flex fuel engines have been designed. Like a specialized sensor that continuously detects the exact ratio of ethanol. It detects the exact ratio of ethanol to petrol in the fuel tank and sends real-time data to the engine control system, so that vehicle doesn't get damaged. Okay, next. The second one is engine control unit. How the engine control unit? Basically, for a bike or a car, engine control unit acts as a brain, right? So, the brain of the vehicle is recalibrated. It is recalibrated in the sense, based on the sensor's input, the ECU automatically adjusts the fuel injection rate and the ignition timing to ensure optimal combustion regardless of the blend, whatever it might be. It gives the, it sends the, when the sensor sends the input, it acts accordingly. These engines act accordingly. And then the next is corrosion resistant components. Like ethanol is a hygroscopic component, as we know about it, like it absorbs the water, highly corrosive to traditional rubber and plastic. It is highly corrosive to traditional rubber and plastic. Like this FFVs use specialized robust materials for fuel lines and fuel pumps and injectors. This is the corrosion resistant components. The next last one is cold start assistant mechanism. Cold start assistant mechanism means where ethanol burns cooler. Ethanol burns the cooler and takes longer to vaporize at low temperatures. Basically, this is what the ethanol will do, right? So, FFVs incorporate heating elements or advanced spark technologies to prevent cold start ignition failures during winters. Basically, during winters, after so many kicks only the bike will start, right? With one self start, the bikes won't be starting. In the same scenario, when ethanol is used, ethanol uses the water, it is a water intensive, right? Like it will, absorbs the water and all. So, to exert advanced spark technologies are held in the engines to prevent cold start ignition failures during the winters. Okay, next, let's see, flex fuel strong hybrid electric vehicles. It is advanced with strong hybrid electric vehicles. Flex fuel strong hybrid electric vehicles. What are these? The government is heavily promoting flex fuel strong hybrid electronic vehicles. These vehicles combine a flex fuel engine and with a strong hybrid electric battery system. Not only with the fuel, it will run with the battery also. These two combination of government is supporting. What is the benefit of it is, they can operate on electric power alone for short distance and use regenerative braking. Uses regenerative braking. So, this offsets the traditional mileage drop. Associated with high ethanol fuels, okay, offering the dual benefit of low emission and high fuel efficiency. Okay, next, let's see the significance and advantages of this flex fuel vehicles. Means first is the energy security. Like India imports how much of crude oil? Basically we import 85% of its crude oil. Whatever we are using now, as of now, India, out of 100%, 85% of crude oil we are importing from some other states. Okay, now, so this mass adoption of this flex fuel vehicles will drastically substitute imported petroleum, insulting the economy from global oil price shocks. Okay, next is emission reduction. How? Because see, we are introducing electronic vehicles, we are introducing the ethanol petroleum because to reduce the carbon emissions, to cut the carbon emissions and make India net zero nation. For that, see, running on E85 or E100 reduces greenhouse gases. It reduces the greenhouse gases emissions on a well-to-wheel basis. It cuts down carbon monoxide, sulfur and hydrocarbon pollutants, which helping India meet its COP26 commitment. What is the COP26 commitment? To reach the net zero nation. India has to reach the net zero nation and ethanol blending has to be there, of reducing projected carbon emission by 1 billion tons by 2030. By 2030, 1 billion tons of carbon emission should be cutted by the India. This is the COP26 commitment. Okay, next is the agrarian economy boost, agricultural economy boost. Like see, the feedstock is completely on the agriculture basis only, no. So whatever is left over, all the spoiled one or whatever the cultivation is, the farmers are giving it to the production of ethanol, means they are earning from it. Like see, increased demand for ethanol can guarantee a stable market for farmers cultivating sugarcane, maize and surplus rice by turning them into vital players in the energy sector. Okay. Next is the high octane rating, means ethanol has a higher octane rating than petrol, okay, which reduces engine knock and can provide better power delivery and acceleration. Okay, these are few significances and advantages of using FLVs. Coming to the challenges and limitations. First one is lower fuel efficiency. Lower fuel efficiency in the sense what you call the mileage drop. Ethanol has approximately 30 to 35% of lower energy when compared to the normal petrol than normal petrol by volume. Okay. Consequently, vehicles running on E85 or E100 experience a noticeable reduction in fuel economy when compared to pure petrol. Okay. The next is high initial cost. Basically, the cost is also high. Like upgrading the materials, sensors and ECUs makes the manufacturing cost of FFVs like flex fuel vehicles higher than standard ICE vehicles, because in flex fuel vehicles we are coming up with a lot of new technology like engines and all, so that cost is also high. Okay. Next is the infrastructure deficit. Coming to the infrastructure deficit, dispensing E85 or E100 requires dedicated pumps and storage infrastructure, which currently limits the availability of high blending fuels. Okay. The next challenge is water and food security. How? Relying heavily on water intensive crops like rice, sugarcane in Maharashtra and Uttar Pradesh for fuel raises ecological concerns alongside the food versus fuel we talked previously, right? In debate regarding the diversion of food grains. This is the major concerns and challenges of flex fuel vehicles and ethanol. Okay. Next, let's see a few government initiatives and policy supports. First one is MORTH advisory, which is in 2021. The Ministry of Road Transport and Highways advised automobile OEMs like original equipment manufacturers to start manufacturing BS6 compliant FFVs and FFV-SHEVs like flex fuel vehicles and flex fuel vehicles with electrics. Okay. Next is the PLI scheme. Production linked incentive scheme is to accelerate adoption and offset higher manufacturing costs. The government has included automobile and auto components of flex fuel engines under the production linked petroleum scheme. Production linked incentive scheme. Okay. The next is the Niti Aayog roadmap. What is this roadmap up to? The roadmap for ethanol blending in India from 2020 to 2025 laid the foundational targets for requiring flex engine vehicles to consume the newly produced high blend fuels. Okay. These are the few government initiatives which have been come up. Next. So, our next topic is sustainable aviation fuels, SAFs. We have talked about this previously, like replacing the jet fuels. We are going to use the sustainable aviation fuels in replacing jet fuels. Okay. What is the sustainable aviation fuel is? Means it is a low carbon renewable alternative to conventional aviation turbine fuel. It is designed to drastically reduce the carbon footprint of air travel, reduce the carbon emissions in the air travels, not only in the the road transport and all, in air transport also we are releasing a more carbon in the atmosphere. Okay. Now, drop in fuel, like this sustainable aviation fuel is chemically identified to traditional crude oil derived jet fuel. It is identified to traditional crude oil derived jet fuel, which it can be blended directly. Currently it's been blended up to 50%, blended directly and used in existing aircraft engines. It can blended and can be directly used in the engines without any modifications, pipelines and fueling infrastructure without requiring any mechanical modifications. Okay, this is one of the plus point for sustainable aviation fuels. Okay, next, coming to the feedstocks, in which feedstocks are used to produce the sustainable aviation fuels is to avoid the first generation biofuels like edible oils, edible corn or sugarcane, to prevent the food and fuel conflict, sustainable feedstocks are included. Sustainable feedstocks are used. What are they? Like waste oils, which are used cooking oils, like and animal fats, currently the most commercially viable pathway. Next is agricultural and forestry waste, like crop residues like wheat straw or corn stover, wood mill waste and forestry residues can also be used to produce this sustainable aviation fuels. Okay. Next, municipal solid waste like households and commercial waste, which are reducing landfill burdens. Okay. Now next is energy crops. How non-food crops like camelina and jethropa, which are grown degraded or non-arable land. Next is advanced pathways like algae, which is high oil yield is coming, and power to liquid synthetic fuels created by combining captured carbon dioxide with green hydrogen. These are the feedstocks which are used for producing sustainable aviation fuels. In Prelims 2024, UPSC Prelims 2024, in exam, these have been tested in the 2024 paper. So please have a note of it. Next is high yield facts and environmental benefits. Means the massive emission reduction, like SAFs reduce life cycle greenhouse gas, reduces the life cycle of greenhouse gases emission by 80% to 94%. 80% to 94% of emission of gases, greenhouse gases are reduced compared to conventional jet fuel. Okay. Some emerging synthetic pathways even have a net negative GHG footprint, like greenhouse gases footprint. Next, cleaner skies. This conventional aviation fuels, what they do, aviation jet fuels emits soot, sulfur aerosols and nitrogen oxides. These are released using the normal aviation jet fuels, which form heat trapping contrails, in the skies. Now, by using SAF, combustion produces significantly less particulate matter and harmful gases. Okay. Next is energy independence. By utilizing domestic biomass and agricultural residues, India can reduce its heavy reliance on imported crude oil. Basically, is to reduce the import from the crude oil, we are coming up with all these technologies and all these blending technologies and all. Okay, and to reduce the emissions also. Next, what are the India targets and global frameworks of this is? First one is CORSIA. Means carbon offsetting and reduction scheme. Carbon offsetting and reduction scheme for international aviation. See, a global market based framework which is established by the International Civil Aviation Organization, which is a UN specialized agency. What is the aim of it? The aim of it is to stabilize and cap net carbon dioxide emissions from international aviation at 2020 levels. Okay. Next, what are the phases of this now? The phases is the pilot and first phases, that is 2021 to 2026 are voluntary. The second phase is 2027 to 2035, which is mandatory for participating member states, including India. So, airlines must offset emissions exceeding the baseline by purchasing carbon credits or utilizing some sustainable aviation fuels. Okay. Next, the next one is India's sustainable aviation fuel blending targets. India's sustainable aviation blending targets. What is this? To align with the mandatory phase of CORSIA, the Indian government has announced indicative sustainable aviation fuel blending targets specifically for international flights. Rather than the domestic flights. What is this? 1% of SAF blending by 2027 and 2% of SAF blending by 2028 and 5% of SAF blending by 2030. This is what the Indian Airlines wanted to achieve by this by in the 3 phases by 27, 28 and 2030 in the international airlines. Okay. Now, next, what are the recent regulatory updates that is in April 2026 is the government officially amended the Aviation Turbine Fuel Regulation of Marketing Order 2001. It amended, okay, like the definition of ATF was legally expanded to include SAF co-processed in petroleum refineries and synthesized hydrocarbons blended with ATF. This administrative step brings SAF under the Essential Commodities Act. This brings the SAF under the Essential Commodities Act by paving the way for a regulated domestic supply chain. Okay. Now, the next one is domestic production first mover. Domestic production first mover, that is Indian Oil Corporation, the IOC, is setting up India's first commercial SAF plant. First commercial SAF plant at its Panipat refinery. In its Panipat refinery, it is setting up the IOC is setting up the first commercial SAF plant. Expected to commence production by late 2026. By this late 2026, the production is yet to start. Okay. IOC is also the first entity in India to receive the ISCC CORSIA certification for SAF production in India. IOC is the first company to receive the certificate for the production of SAFs. Okay. Next, what are the key challenges to adoption of this SAF is, the first one is high production cost. Like currently SAF is 3 to 5 times more expensive than the conventional jet fuel, which acts as a major barrier to voluntary adoption and could increase air fares. Based on this, if fuel rates are more, what happens? The air prices also increases, right? Basically now only the air prices are high to a limited distance also, but after adopting this SAF completely, the air prices may also hike. Okay. Next is logistical constraints, like aggregating sufficient, consistent and traceable supplies of feedstocks like UCO, used cooking oil and scattered agricultural waste across India is highly complex. Next is technological scaling. How? Advanced production methods like alcohol to jet or power to liquid, which requires massive research and developmental investments, okay, and are not yet commercially viable at the scale needed to meet global aviation demand. Okay. Next, see, let's see few MCQ areas. It's not like previously PYQs, just normal MCQs for a quick revision. First question, see the first question. First question is SAF fully compatible with existing commercial aircraft without requiring engine redesigns? Is it yes? Yes, because it is a drop-in fuel. Okay. Next question. Which international body manages the CORSIA emission reduction scheme? Which international body manages it? It managed by International Civil Aviation Organization. Next, third question is, when does CORSIA's mandatory compliance phase begin for Indian international flights? In which phase? It is in 2027. Okay. Next, the next question is, does the April 2026 ATF control order amendment establish mandatory blending targets for domestic flights in India? Is it for domestic flights or international flights? It is for international flights rather than the domestic flights. So the answer is no. The amendment provides the legal definition and regulatory framework to allow blending, but mandatory targets currently apply only to international flights starting in 2027. Okay. Next, moving on. So our next concept is compressed biogas technology and ecosystem. Compressed biogas technology and ecosystem. This is one of the another fuel rather than this. We have seen ethanol and all, right? Ethanol blending and all. We have seen the sustainable aviation fuels. Now we'll say compressed biogas. What is it? What is compressed biogas? Means it is a purified and highly compressed form of biogas which is produced through the anaerobic decomposition of organic matter. By using the anaerobic decomposition, these CBGs are produced, compressed biogases are produced. Okay, now let's see what is the composition of this means. The raw biogas, which is typically contains 55 to 60% of methane and 40 to 45% of carbon dioxide and traces of hydrogen sulfide after purification means removing the carbon dioxide, this H2S and moisture and compression. The resulting is the CBG containing over 90% of pure methane. It's not ethanol now, it is completely methane. Okay, next. Coming to the equivalence, due to its high methane content, this compressed biogas has a calorific value and energy potential that is exactly similar to commercially available CNGs, that is compressed natural gas. Okay, therefore it can be used seamlessly as an alternative rather than using the CNGs. For CNGs also now we have the alternative like compressed biogases, which are an alternative renewable automotive fuel, that is green CNG and industrial fuel. Okay, next. It is the replacement for this CNGs. Basically we are using the CNG vehicles now, right? In replacement of this we have green CNGs. Green CNGs are nothing but the compressed biogases. Okay, next. What are the key feedstocks now to produce the CBGs is agricultural residues, example like paddy straw, wheat straws and etc. Next is cattle dung and poultry litter is also used as a feedstock. Next is sugarcane press mud, which is a byproduct of the sugar industry. Next is the municipal solid waste and sewage treatment plants waste. This is also used to produce this CBGs. Okay, next, coming to the major government initiatives, the first one is the START initiative. START initiative means sustainable alternative towards affordable transportation. Sustainable alternative towards affordable transportation, which is launched in the year 2018, October 2018. What is the nodal ministry of it? Nodal ministry is Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. Okay, next, coming to the core objective of this SATAT is to establish a robust ecosystem, for the production of CBG and promote its use alongside natural gas in the transport sector. Okay, next, coming to the mechanism of the CBGs, this STAT scheme. Public sector oil marketing companies initiative expression of interest from entrepreneurs to set up CBG plants. The oil marketing companies provide assured long-term offtake agreements at fixed prices, ensuring revenue stability for plant developers. Okay, next. The second one is Govardhan initiative, that is galvanizing organic bioagro resources done. This is which focuses on keeping villages clean while increasing the income of farmers and cattle headers by converting organic waste, especially the cattle dung, into biogas and organic manure. Okay, this is also income for agricultural farmers and the cattle headers. Okay, it acts as an umbrella initiative. Which is coordinating efforts across multiple ministries to promote the circular economy. Okay, next, coming to the CBG blending obligation. What is the mandatory target of it? The National Biofuels Coordination Committee approved the phased mandatory blending of CBG in CNG, in transport and PNG in the domestic sector. Okay, within the city gas distribution networks. The next is, what is the timeline of it? Means the mandatory blending obligation legally begins in financial year 2025 to 2026 with what? With a 1% of target. Okay, which is progressively scaling up to what percentage? 5%. By which year? By financial year 28 to 2029. Okay, next. Coming to the financial and market support of this CBGs, the CFA subsidy, like the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy provides central finance assistance, CFA, central finance assistance up to 10 crores per project. Per project, how many crores? 10 crores will be provided by the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. Okay, coming to the market development assistant, a crucial initiative offering 1,500 per metric tons to support the marketing of fermented organic manure and liquid FOM produced as a byproduct of CBG plants. Okay, next. See, we will see few comparisons of CBG to the conventional CNGs. What are the features? Coming to the source, conventional CNG is finite fossil fuels which are extracted from the earth. This is also CNG also we are using is of the from fossil fuels only. Coming to the CBGs, it is the renewable organic waste and biomass. As in such of using petrol and diesel in the vehicles, we are using ethanol blending process, right? In the same way, in CNG place we are using CBG. We are coming up with CBG. Next, coming to the carbon footprint of the conventional CNG, adds net new carbon to the atmosphere. Though less than the petrol and diesel, it is somewhat adding the amount of carbon emissions to the atmosphere. Coming to the compressed biogas, carbon neutral means the carbon released was recently absorbed by plants closing the loop. Okay, next, coming to the byproducts of it. Any byproducts when we of this conventional CNG? No, none, no byproducts of it. Whereas CBGs has nutrient rich slurry, means this is fermented organic manure which is used as a organic fertilizer in the crops. Okay, next, coming to the energy security, the CNGs are heavily reliant on imported liquefied natural gas. Where coming to CBGs, these are domestically sourced, which is boosting rural economy and energy independence. Okay, next, this is the few comparisons between the conventional CNG and the CBGs, the modern CBGs. Next, coming to the benefits. What are the benefits of using the CBG in this ecosystem is, first one is stubble burning solution. Stubble burning solution means procuring agricultural residues like paddy straw for CBG plant provides farmers with an economic incentive. It provides farmers with economic incentive, offering a sustainable alternative to the highly polluting practices of stubble burning in North India, basically in North India. Next, waste to wealth. Waste to wealth, which means it solves the mounting crisis of municipal solid waste in urban centers. It obviously in producing CBGs we are using the municipal waste and the sewage water treatment plant, sewage water plant waste also, no? In that scenario, it solves the mounting crisis of municipal solid waste in urban centers by diverting organic waste away from saturated landfills. Okay. Next is the forex savings. Obviously, by developing this, it is no use of importing the CNGs from the various countries. We are dependent on India, right? When we develop this CBGs. Okay, direct substitution of imported natural gas, stabilizing India's current account deficit. Okay. Next, coming to the challenge in scaling up this from CNG to CBG, we are facing few challenges. What are those? Means first is bioslurry management, because bioslurry is one of the byproduct of producing the CNG, right? CBG, right? See, the massive volumes of FOM or bioslurry produced as a byproduct are bulky to transport. They are bulky to transport and faces lack of established market linkages. Okay, often becoming a disposable headache rather than a revenue stream. Okay, rather than a revenue stream, it is being disposed due to lack of marketing linkages and transportation process. Okay, next. The next is feedstock supply chain. In the sense, guaranteeing a continuous year-round supply. Guaranteeing continuous year-round supply of seasonal agricultural residues to plants is logistically complex and expensive, which is complex and expensive. The next is capital intensity. Capital intensity is banks remain hesitant to finance CBG projects at a favorable rate due to perceived technology risks, and uncertain long-term gas offtakes. Okay. These are the few benefits and challenges of using CBGs. Okay. Next, we'll see few MCQs. We have seen for flex fuel vehicles and ethanol and right. Now we'll see for the focus areas, MCQ focus areas, which is for quick revision. Coming to the first question, what is the primary chemical constituent of CBG? Primary chemical constituent of CBG is methane. How much percentage? Over 90%. Next question is, does the SATAT scheme fall under the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy? I've already told you in the starting itself, it doesn't fall under the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. It is overseen by the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. Next, third question is, are city gas distribution networks legally obligated to blend CBG into their natural gas pipelines? Yes, obviously, because the CBG blending obligation becomes mandatory starting financial year 2025 to 26. Okay, these are few MCQs for the regarding topic of CBG. Okay. So these are the contents for today. We have seen few fuels, alternative fuels like ethanol replacing the normal petrol and diesel. We have seen few sustainable aviation fuels replacing the normal jet fuels, and we have seen this CBGs in replacement for CNGs and all. So this is the part 1 of the fuels we have come up with today. Tomorrow I'll come up with the second part of it, the alternative fuels, where there are a few more alternative fuels. We'll come up with part 2. And I hope everyone liked this video. If you want a clear note on it, do visit our website and download it from there. The link is provided in the description below. And do like, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and do follow our Instagram and Telegram channels for your UPSC preparations. I'll see you all tomorrow with another part of the alternative fuels in Mission Surya Phase 3 of Environment and Science and Technology Current Affairs. Thank you.